Hey, everybody, it's Craig Syracuse of Walk in Faith. I'm blessed to be sitting down with a good friend, Mike Manhardt, along with Father Ed, you're at Good Shepherd in California. And what is it? I'm sorry, Beverly Hills, right?
Yeah, Beverly Hills, California. Beautiful Beverly Hills.
And it's Good Friday. It's a very unusual Good Friday. I was just doing a recording, and I was talking now. At this point, I'd be in church right now. We'd be getting ready for the procession. But we're home, obviously, in quarantine. What is it like for you guys in California, in Beverly Hills?
Well, like much of the nation, I would imagine in New York and Los Angeles, we're probably the most affected by COVID-19. So really, everyone is just staying at home. So it's kind of sad because this would be a very, incredible time for the church, but we can't really celebrate it like we want to.
I know. That's something, we have a lot of traditions in Brooklyn. We still do processions, which I'm in New Jersey now. And I was telling the pastor about a procession, and the processions that they do are in a parking lot, which is very different. The processions that we would do in Brooklyn, and we mentioned Father Bishop Caggiano, he was part of it. We would walk around 18th Avenue. It's a big tradition. And now obviously we're not doing it. I'd be at church all day on Friday, go home Saturday. I mean, I pretty much lived at the church for the past, during this week. So now in California and in Beverly Hills, what are you guys doing today? I mean, do you have a procession, or do you station the cross? How are you sort of going to, feed the flock during this time?
Well, like many people, we're really limited to our website. What we're doing is we're doing videos, and then we post them on our website, and eventually we'll get to live streaming. But that's how we're really, I was telling Mike Manhardt that our digital really outreach we have with our people right now, because everyone's staying at home.
It was really cool last night, Craig. I live in a different part of Los Angeles, and there's a Catholic church near my home, and they're having Eucharistic adoration in the parking lot. So literally, you drive your car up to the sanctuary. They have a customized sanctuary. You've got the monstrance and the Blessed Sacrament exposed under a tent because it's been raining here. This is our 2 weeks of rain that we get every year. So it was amazing last night to see about 50. It was midnight last night when I left. They did it up until midnight. So cool to see people coming in their cars with their families, adoring the Lord, from their vehicles, people coming out in the rain, getting back in their car. Really beautiful experience. I mean, you have to do what you have to do now. You got to get creative and figure things out. How are we going to serve the people? How are we going to bring Jesus to the people during?
I think you hit it right in the head. It's bringing Jesus, bringing the Lord to the people. And, working for the church, I've always said to them, we need to really, step up and use social media, because it's just a new form of communication, the same way, whether it's Jesus telling parables or stories, just need to use the new form of communication and bring the gospel to the people. And now we're, in a sense, forced to it. Some of the churches have sort of transitioned into it during this time. Some of them already were ready and capable of doing it, like you mentioned. You want to start live streaming, which is the next thing. But a lot of people were ready. I know my parish in Brooklyn, in one day, he got 5,000 followers, Monsignor Casado, which is friends with Bishop Caggiano, in one day. It was amazing. But, what I think this time, this opportunity, what it's showing us is that we don't need to just think about the four walls or the local parish. It's about reaching people globally, people in other states. So when you stream Mass, you're not just reaching the people down the block, you're reaching people throughout the country, throughout the world. So it's also, I think this time it's planting a seed for when life goes back to the new normal, that, you planted that seed during this time, especially an initiative you guys are doing, which I want to talk about. You're planting a seed, and now people are looking at the church and religion and faith and spirituality in a completely different light. And I think it's fascinating.
Well, I can speak as pastors out there. I think most of us took all this digital outreach for granted, because we would have a captive audience coming into our four walls every day. And we're like, I can speak to them. I can give them a hard copy bulletin. We have a website. We can get to them. But now, and I joke with my pastor friends, we're forced to get more digital. But it's good. You're right. It's good, because when we go back to, we got to do both. We got to take care of the people in the church, but then also give them a digital outreach.
Yeah, exactly. Because, if you want to reach the youth, right, let's say you want to reach, one of, Generation Z, X, Y, I don't know what it is anymore, millennials, the nuns, you can't reach them. I know, right? That's the funny word, the nuns. You can't reach them, or expecting them to just walk into a church sometimes. It's just not part of their, their DNA, their foundation. Maybe they were raised Catholic, maybe they weren't, but, you want to reach them where they are, which is by using technology, which is social media, streaming, use the platforms that they're accustomed to, reach them, plant the seed, and then pull them in. And what you guys are doing, which, you could also bring in a lot of people that way by, now just in case people are not familiar with family or, the initiative that you have at your parish in Beverly Hills. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
You can talk about family, Mike.
Sure. Stan Tuna, who probably most of your viewers and listeners are familiar, CFR, we started a movement called Family, and I'm just happened to be wearing a Wall Township, New Jersey football. All right, right down the street from us, Wall Township, New Jersey. We started a movement called Family, and Family is an acronym that means forget about me, I love you. All right, so it's an attitude of selfless love, really. And in a very specific collaboration with Father Ed and the parishioners of Good Shepherd Church, in this time during COVID-19, to bring Jesus to the streets, feed the poor. So Father Ed started a movement now called Feed My Poor, in collaboration with One Strong Family. All right, to have the attitude of forget about me. 25. Jesus says, what you do to the least of these, my brothers and sisters, that you do unto me. So that's really our conviction. That's our calling, is to join Father Ed and bring the message of salvation to the street by being a seed planter, giving them maybe something that teaches them the family message, but primarily living out that we learn about in Matthew chapter 25. Feed my hungry, give drink to my thirsty, welcome the stranger, visit the prisoner. Some of those things we can't do right now during COVID. Figure out how to maintain social distancing, how to be prepared properly. He and I have been hanging out all week, so we feel great. We've actually been hanging out for like 3 weeks.
I don't have a tape measure, but I could tell that's not 6 feet.
Yeah, if he got it, I got it. We feel great. We know the numbers. We're not being stupid. We're not going out and giving it to others. When we leave factory right now, there's nobody else with us here, So that's just how it is. But yeah, it's just a matter of living out the gospel, bringing it to the streets. Los Angeles, it's the homeless capital of the United States of America. It's not like New York City used to be back in the 70s, 80s, 90s. It's been the homeless capital of the United States. You go down to Skid Row, Oh my goodness, you got 9,000 people down there who are literally looking for anything that they could get their hands on, or feed their bellies, and that's what. Yeah, and conviction and the love that we want to share.
And you said a couple of things that I was thinking about. One is, number one, this isn't something that you just decided to do now. This is something I know you've been doing for a long time. I'm not sure, what was it, 2000? It's over 10 years you've been doing this, right?
Officially, I started serving the poor every day in LA in 2015.
2015. Okay. And I know I was watching something yesterday. You've handed out over 500,000 bracelets. You've traveled around the world. So this isn't something that you just decided to do. And the other thing too, which is, I only see what I see on TV. So we're not really able to go out much. I know now in New Jersey, it's mandatory you wear a mask. Everything's pretty much closed. It's very uncomfortable, I guess is the best way to describe it. You can't go to church and pray. So we're limited. So now there are people out there that don't have, the access to restaurants or to food, whether they're homeless or not. And there's an increase also in people that, rely on services, and rely on people like you to feed them, to help them during this tough time. And then there's additional people that lost their job. There's over 10 million people on unemployment, so How are you serving them during this time? And have you seen an increase, a decrease in people? How are you collecting the food? I'd love to know how you're able to, feed the hungry.
Sure. So real quickly, how this started 3 weeks ago when President Trump announced, I think it was a Monday, that no gatherings larger than 10 people are allowed. And that's where I noticed the stories, especially in the news, where that hung down, right? So we're in survival mode, with masks and gloves and everything. But I noticed in the stories that many agencies and companies that would normally donate bottled water and food to the homeless doing that anymore. Because everyone's losing jobs, losing profit. So everyone's kind of backing away, hunkering down for survival mode, which I understand. But I realized, wait a second, who's thinking about the homeless? And the answer, sadly, is nobody. Yes. Nobody really cares about them. And I've admired Mike for the last 5 years. He's been doing this. And Mike's a part of our church. He teaches our high school confirmation and have a homeless ministry here, but we had to shut it down because we would have about 100 to 150 homeless coming to us. And because of the president's order, we can't do that anymore. So this isn't good. How are we going to help the poor of Christ? And that's where, through prayer, I came up with the idea of Feed My Poor. And so what we do now is, and it will start it in a couple of minutes, is we have a big hall. Everyone's practicing social distancing, masks, gloves, everything. And we make about 400 to 500 sandwiches. And then we have drivers that go out, and again, following all CDC guidelines. And what they do is they drop off the food. And as Mike said, we're the homeless capital of the nation. And so what we do is there's tent encampments, sadly, all over the city. So the drivers and I went a couple times just to learn it, and you kind of yell to the tent, is anybody there? Is anybody hungry? And if so, they come on out, and you just drop the food safely. You can say, God bless you or whatever, and you get the food there. So now we started off with like 2 days a week. Now we're doing it 5 days a week. And my goal is to do it 7 days a week because there's nothing else to do. We can't have church, and I'm bored, and we want to have, we're doing primarily cold food. I want to do hot food also. So that's our goal.
That's it. Now, I mean, I've seen on the news only that they have certain parking lots where they're 6 feet apart. I mean, have you noticed that in Skid Row? Are they practicing social distancing at all?
No, they're God bless the homeless. They're in the ultimate survival mode, so they kind of do their own thing. A lot of the civil authorities are trying to get them into temporary housing, but they didn't ask the homeless if they want to do this. So I've talked to law enforcement and pretty detailed trying to get them in, but the homeless don't want to do that. The homeless are going to do their own thing. So they're not going to go into a shelter. They're not going to go to a recreation center. So they're going to stay put. They're going to do what they do. So it's our job as believers in Christ to feed them, and that's all we can do.
And so how are you, I mean, because I know donations are down, and I know during, unfortunately during crisis, a lot of people, like you said, hunkered down, but for some reason, they don't give, right? And I actually started thinking about that myself. I said, oh my God, I'm not donating like I used to because I'm not going to church. So I was able to do online giving. And now how are you getting these donations, whether it's cold food, hot food? How are you able to support this movement and initiative?
Good question. I'll let Mike talk a little bit about more our vision going forward. But for now, right now, we're just relying on our church savings right now.
Wow.
In the past, I have absolute power at the end of the day. My job is to feed the poor, but I know going forward, we're going to need that digital outreach. Speak to that, what we want to do, digital outreach.
Just before speaking with you today, Craig, we had another Zoom conference with a professional social media company and professional video to help us launch in about a week to 10 days. We expect that Feed My Poor is going to have a presence for the first time really on social media outside of their YouTube, Facebook, we'll begin to show the people what we're actually doing. We'll bring the audience, whoever wants to view, we'll through video, and then there'll be a button to be able to donate, to be able to share, and then we will be giving out gifts based on a level of donation. For example, Rutgers football there, but we'll get our family bracelets out to thank you gifts in other people need thank you, but everybody should feel like they're a part of this, especially during time. And you want to engage and make them feel like, hey, we're united together. And as a bunch of Catholics, we're one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church, so let's be united in this cause to feed my poor, as Jesus says. So that's one of the things we're going to do to try to make people aware that we need donations. And it's about $10,000 a month at this point to make 400 to 500 sandwiches. Increase that to maybe a day. We want to do that. 1,000 sandwiches soon.
Yeah.
We want to increase this.
Yeah, we're only limited, obviously, by the funds. If I have more money, I'm going to buy more food. And I've been really impressed with the volunteer turnout, because a lot of people are working at home. They're bored. They're going stir crazy. So for them to come to the parish, hall and volunteer for a couple hours, I love it, because it keeps their sanity. Because otherwise, I know a lot of people are going crazy at home.
I know, and it's like we said, what you're doing is planting the seed. I have a friend, they do Midnight Run, this guy Vinny Marone, and he feeds the homeless. He was doing it almost every day, and he has an outreach at St. Dominic's Church with Bishop Caggiano. Again, it was his parish, and it's something that they've been doing, and they built such a strong relationship with the homeless. Now, when you're out there, I know you're saying now you're just dropping the sandwiches. Have you had the opportunity to pray with any of the homeless people? Have you seen them? I know, because most of the ones that I've met, they have such a strong conviction. They're so connected to their faith. It's something that I learned a lot from them, their stories, and they all have a very unique story about how they became homeless. And especially during this time, we should all reflect on our own lives and our gifts and how God is leading us. Are you able to pray with them at all? Are you able to pass them rosary beads, or is it just a sandwich and you go?
Well, right now, because again, we want to respect CDC guidelines, and we don't want any of our drivers or ourselves to get sick. Unfortunately, it's been limited to just a drop and just, hi, God bless you. So yeah, that's right. But obviously Mike, for the last 5 years, he's been able to deeply engage with these people,
One of the most amazing things about the homeless is that before you're able to engage with them with a simple God bless you or would you like to pray, many times they initiate that. I don't know if you've ever been out there, Craig, but that happens all the time.
Yes.
They're so grateful, to be able to receive something. And people are always patting me on the back. Oh, thank you for serving the homeless. I'm like, don't thank me for serving the homeless. That's our calling. And I get so fulfilled by the service, that's enough. Whatever, our treasure is stored in heaven, right? So it's like, come on, let's do this together. Let's offer prayer. Like as Father had said, right now we need to be very cautious and not go around laying hands on people, and praying together. But certainly that is something that can happen. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I went out a few times. I'm not going to say I went out a lot. I've helped a few times, and it's so rewarding. I love to just shake their hands. I always carry around rosary beads, give them rosary beads, talk to them, and hear their story. And it really puts a lot in perspective. So, Father Ed, you have an interesting story. I was reading your bio. You were ordained in 2007, which is a little late, I would say, right?
Yes, I was a school teacher before I became a priest.
But I thought you wanted to be your NBA star. I mean, your bio says NBA, NHL.
Yeah, that's definitely a misprint. No, I grew up as a big sports fan. My dream was to be a professional athlete. I played baseball, football, basketball, tennis, you name it. And my dad was a football coach, and I figured, well, I'm not going to be a pro athlete. I'll be a coach. I figured that would be cool. I'll be a leader of men, and I'll probably teach in the school. But then actually, this is full circle. Then I started doing volunteer work with Mother Teresa's Missionaries of Charity in Los Angeles with the homeless. And I did this for about a year, and it just grabbed my heart. That's how the Lord got me. And he's like, dude, you're going to be my servant in the church. So I see this as kind of this seed the Lord put on my heart about 25 years ago. So now it's starting to grow again. So I'm really excited what the Lord's doing with me personally.
One of the cool things about Father Ed, he's native. And the only time he's been to New York City was when he was checking out the Franciscan Friars of the Renewal. So, yeah.
And they're really good at basketball. You know that, right? I mean, we've done a lot of events with them. They dunk, they play all sports.
Exactly.
Yeah, I did a video for them, which is my next question was about vocations, and they actually were in at the CFRs. We did something with the Mets, and they were playing basketball, and I mean, they were really talented. They sing. I mean, they do everything. They're like a triple threat. This is just something that I was thinking. I mean, I see this as an increase in vocations during this time. I think the way the church is stepping up and the way all different ministries and youth groups and just lay people, I have a feeling that this might spark something in people to really, like you said, live a selfless life and to really put your priorities in order and you even sent me that message about everything's been stripped away, and I've read that online, and I think this might increase vocations. Do you guys feel that way at all? Or do you see sort of the world changing and sort of the culture changing?
I do. I mean, it's like, God brings good out of evil. And if you look historically, when people have been oppressed or a war or a famine, we go to that higher power that maybe we were just too busy in our own little self-actualization that we don't do that. So yes, I do foresee church attendance to go up, people to really think more about why are we here? What's ultimately important in life? Because again, most of us, and I can speak for pastors around America, we get caught up in the rat race. We got a to-do list, we got our goals, and we just focus on it. But we all need, and it starts with us clergy, we got to slow down. And why are we here? Who do we work for? Obviously, we work for Christ. So I think a good byproduct of this evil COVID-19 is I think a lot of people are going to start slowing down and being a little more reflective about life.
I agree. I thought about it too. I said, how I know my parents, I'm a little bit younger than you guys, they would say the good old days. When we were young, we would sit outside on the stoop and they would go over this whole good old days mantra. And that's what it's like now. It's, in a sense, just the part of the family unit. It's like the good old days. We're sitting down watching a movie. We're not ordering out. We're just cooking together, making pizza, walking around. I go down the block with my son's 4. He wants to go jogging because he wants to get big muscles. He's always telling me. So we're doing things that usually I'm working or I'm running to the store or I'm running around. And now the family unit is back together again and just enjoying one another's company. So I do think that during this time, I think a lot of people's perspective will change. And I think that the church has a great advantage in the sense of really showing people what's important in life, opposed to NHL. No offense. I know you're a basketball player, but no offense. But it's really stripping us away of what we thought are idols and really showing us what's important in life. So now, okay, for people out there that are watching this, listening to this, how do they get involved? I know you guys need finances, you need funding, you need food. How do they get involved? How do they reach out to you guys?
Sure. The best way is just go to our website, goodshepherdbeverlyhills.org or gsbh.org. And on the home page, there's a Feed My Poor header. You just click that, and right on the Feed My Poor page, there's a little button called Faith Direct. You click that, and then you can give a donation.
Okay, I'm very familiar with Faith Direct. I would advise everyone out there, make a donation. I know, like you said, we're all hoarding, whether it's toilet paper, our money, our finances, but this is the time to give, and especially, the homeless, they're completely underserved. We rarely hear about them on the news, and I think this is a time we should all step up. Is there anything you guys want to add before we go?
Just an encouragement to anybody who's listening. Listen, it's not easy for us to be out and about right now, obviously. But if you have ways that you could get creative and figure out how you can serve others, during this time, man, there's nothing better right now than to be able to show portray that in some way, to others. However you could do that. You got to figure that out wherever you are. Here, we feel very blessed that we've got what we've got going on. But man, I think it would be great for others to do as much as they can, to serve others. Let's take the focus off of ourselves, forget about me, right? And say, I love you, and put it on others right now.
And just to add to that, obviously we as one, we're not going to be able to feed all the 60,000 homeless in Los Angeles. We can do what we can. The goal is going to be 1,000. But my prayer is that we become a catalyst that other churches, Christian churches, Catholic churches, anybody says, you know what, we can do more. We can do more. And that's my hope. That's my prayer. We're just like a little light, and hopefully other people, their little light will come on up inside and they're going to do something. That's my hope.
You're right. It's just like you said, the catalyst. There's a friend, actually, I hope he's watching this or he watches this, Pizza Social. He's in California, I think Beverly Hills, Admir and Media. I hope they would watch this and donate some pizzas to your parish, to your mission. Thank you guys so much. It's always a pleasure to speak with you. I'm going to do my best to help you guys as much as I can. And always remember, guys, you have the ability to inspire and evangelize through words and actions. Please reach out to Father Ed and Mike Manhardt and help with their movement. God bless you guys.
Thanks, Craig.
Thanks, Craig. God bless you.